Well, bloody hell, folks, it's not the best weather today. I've been in Herefordshire the last 2 days, blazing sunshine. And I thought, oh, I'm going to pop down to Devon to see my grandmother, Granny Seaside. Unfortunately, I've chosen the worst day possible for it. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and this video is just Herefordshire to Devon. Let's see how long the journey takes, some nice sights on the journey, and how the Saab handles it. Now, the journey should only be 3.5 hours. It would be a lot shorter because it's all really on the M5. But Hereford's so badly connected from the rest of the country that it takes nearly an hour and a half to get from here to the nearest motorway. But even when it's pissing it down, I do like a long drive, especially in the trusty Saab. Although I'm not going to have much use for the soft top today. Right then, let's go. Now, unfortunately, I'll have to wait for a minute whilst this fog goes. This is why you should never vape in your cars, guys. This is what happens. Awful. So first up on the drive, we've actually got to head into Hereford because where my mum lives is actually to the west of Hereford towards Wales. So I've got about a 20-minute drive to actually get into Hereford. It's 9 AM in the morning, so there's going to be school run traffic. There's going to be all sorts of people scurrying into Hereford. So I'm going to attempt to go around it, but unfortunately Hereford doesn't have a fucking bypass, which is a big issue if you live in Hereford, right? So we're going to be stuck in traffic for a while. But at the moment, still lush country scenery. But it is still pissing it down with rain. So the total journey distance for me today is 145 miles from Herefordshire to Devon. I should be able to cover that, as I said, in 3 hours. And the Saab loves long distance driving. In fact, when I put the Saab on the motorway, you hear a purr, and it's so fuel efficient that I can actually get 450 miles out of a tank. All right, I'm on the Hereford bypass, right? And I'm going to do a rolling 0 to 60, okay? I'm going 10 miles now, I'm going 5 miles now, I'm going to put my foot down now, right? So we're now at 30, we're now at 40, we're now at 50, we're now at 60. I don't know how long that was, you can time that for me, but that's the Saab's rolling 0 to 60. Very fast, extremely fast. I love the Saab. So I haven't made YouTube videos for an absolute age, and that's because I've been really focusing on TikTok, rightly or wrongly. I had a couple of really strong months on there, and I actually did 35 million views in the last month. That's like 30% of all the views I've ever had in the 1.5 years that I've been on TikTok. I was permanently banned yesterday, and so what I've realized is that TikTok isn't really going to be a sustainable way for me to be making content in the long term. I really like using TikTok, but the community guidelines are just a bit too whack. So I'm going to really put my heart and soul into YouTube, do more videos like this, perhaps 3 times a week uploads of like good videos. So make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube channel and drop a comment and a like as well. That's very important to help me with the algorithm. I learned that one from Count Dankula. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to put a Siggy counter on this video, but if I do, this is number 1. I'm just about to come out the other side of Hereford now, and I want to stop and get something to eat. There is a brilliant butcher's called Legs that I really love. They're actually based in Bromyard, where I used to live, but they've got a little shop in Hereford, and they sell these amazing bacon and sausage rolls, bacon and sausage baguette. At lunchtime, pulled pork baguette is absolutely 10 out of 10. Would recommend, if you're ever in Hereford, Bromyard, get yourself to Legs. I'm about to get there and get some scran. Right, we're now approaching breakfast. Very excited for Legs. Every time I'm in Hereford, there's a couple of staples for me. Number 1 is Beefy Boys. Number 2 is Wetherspoons. Number 3 is Legs. Is it shut? No, it's not shut. It's very much open. Let's have a go. Come on. Fantastic. Oh shit. I've gone with the bacon and sausage baguette with brown sauce. Looking lovely. And Americano. Nothing quite like a good sausage and bacon breakfast. So I absolutely adore country driving. I grew up passing my test, and my first 2-3 years of real where I was driving was in country lanes around Herefordshire and Worcestershire. Lots of people don't like driving on country lanes, they find it stressful, but I just think it's like almost like a video game. So whenever driving, like when I was up in Scotland doing the NC 500, I'm always happy to drive, especially if it's country roads, but put me on a motorway, mate, no, I do not enjoy that. Now I've been stuck behind this lorry for about 3 miles. I'm somewhere outside Malvern. You've heard of Malvern, the Malvern Hills. And the roads are so windy that I just can't get past it. And this is bringing me distress. I'm not a fan of being stuck behind lorries, especially in the ever so capable Saab. I almost had him then, but it was a blind corner and I didn't want to film my own death today. Now, do you remember that bit where I said how much I love driving on country roads? Well, yes, I do, unless I'm stuck behind a lorry that I can't pass. Very irritating. I'm currently in a 30 zone, right? And there are speed cameras through this. Otherwise, I would have floored this lorry a while ago. But it seems I'll be following this bastard until Worcester. Just seen the lorry's number plate. Of course, he's French. There is a French lorry driver blocking our roads in Herefordshire. And I won't stand for it. We're in Worcestershire, actually. No, you're fine here, mate. Sorry, everyone. I forgot we're not in Herefordshire anymore. I have no control over what happens in Worcestershire. 4 miles from Worcester. Now, as soon as we're on Worcester, we get to the M5. And as soon as we're on the M5, we just fly down there at the speed of light. Fantastic. Here's a joke for you. Tony Blair walks into a bar. He's immediately arrested for war crimes. It turns out it wasn't a bar, it was actually The Hague. Here's another joke for you. The US public outvoted their best president ever in favour of a geriatric with Alzheimer's. Oh wait, that one's real. Right-wing jokes with Tom Birchy and the Saab. Yay! Oh, finally! I'm gonna gap him! Fuck you, lorry! On the fucking roundy! On the roundy! Come on! Fuck you, mate! Yes! He's gone! He's fucking gone! He's gone! He's away! Yeah! Shoom! Pew! I'm going very far. I'm not. I'm going 50 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour. But no more lorry. So I used to play rugby in Worcester when I was a boy. I was kicked out of my boarding school because I was very good at rugby. I needed somewhere to play, and the club that I found when I was living in Bromyard was Worcester, and I met some lovely lads playing there, really good boys. And I've actually grown quite fond of Worcester as a place, although I don't go there nearly as much as I should, largely because I just love Herefordshire and Hereford so much. But Worcester's a very nice place. You should definitely check it out. I went on a date here once with this farmer girl called Lily, and the best place in the whole of Worcester was a Brown's. Now Brown's are all right. Brown's bars are fine. But it doesn't say much about the quality of your city if the best establishment is a Brown's. I, like most people, would fancy myself as an advanced driver. I do consider myself to be much better than the average layperson scooting around in their BMW 1 Series. However, this stretch of road where I am here is somewhere I nearly crashed. See, I started driving on the road before I was 17 because my mum didn't actually know the laws about when you were allowed to drive a car. So at 16, she would let me drive myself to rugby, which was very kind of her. But one time, that nearly ended in terror when I almost crashed by not looking out of my wing mirrors. I now always look out of my wing mirrors. God bless. Well, I'm currently being beeped at because I just get to a load of traffic. But I'm the real winner here because I can deal with being beeped at. I can't deal with it taking ages for me to filter into traffic. It's just not about that life. The gentleman behind me is trying to tailgate me in his Beamer, but I don't care about my £1,000 Saab. I'm sure he cares about his Beamer. I'm sure of it. Nearly let that man out, but I didn't because I'm a dickhead. Life's good. City number 2. Do you know what the difference between vaping and smoking is? Both of them are bad for you, right? I'm sure vaping is less bad for you, but I'm sure it's not good for you. The difference is that smoking is actually cool. I mean, you look at someone smoking, you're like, fair enough, right? Especially if they're young and beautiful, like me. But if you see anyone vaping, you just look at them like they're some sort of attacker of children. This stretch of road I'm on now, right, has been under work for the last 8 years. 8 years, this strip of road has been under maintenance. In Singapore, in Thailand, in Dubai, anywhere that is efficient. Yes, they may have worse labour, health and safety laws or whatever, but that'll be done in a week. They'll be done in a week. It would not take 8 years and many hundreds of millions of pounds to improve some shite road. Vape King. I am now about to join the M5, and as soon as I'm on the M5, it is just straight to Devon, as I'm sure you've all been before. Where it goes high and low, that's how you know you're on the way to Devon. But first we've got to pass Cheltenham and we've got to pass Bristol to get there. And here we are on the slip road. Let's see what the Saab can do. Oh, it's an average speed check of 50 miles an hour. Let's slow the fuck down. Well, it would be an understatement to say it's a godforsaken day. The spray up from the motorway is absolutely appalling. I'm currently driving at 60 miles an hour because I don't want to caroon, into another car. Very unideal driving conditions, if I do say so myself. Some poor sod on a motorbike has just whizzed past, looking very upset and very moist. Oh, and another one as well. I would not be riding a bike in this weather. You could not pay me enough money. In fact, the only time you'll see me on a bike is if I'm in Thailand or if I'm in, you know, some hot sunny country, not the pissing rain on the M5. Now we're a third of the way through the journey. I'd say we've covered almost 50 miles and the Saab is still registering as full on the fuel gauge. This is what we like to see. The Saab is a brilliant car for long distance driving. I will not hear a bad word said against it. However, driving a soft top car does have its flaws. And one of them with this Saab is there is no way of cleaning the back windscreen because it's just a plastic thing that folds down with the roof. So I have zero visibility out of that back through the mirror up there. And to make matters worse, some dickhead crashed into my right wing mirror. So pretty much when I'm overtaking or when I'm on a motorway trying to change lane, I have no way of seeing other than turning around like this and potentially careening into something in front. You can just tell they're gonna have a shit holiday. So I've got a new favourite song at the moment, and that is Saves the Day by Sticky Fingers. It's just a fun. In fact, that whole album, Lecker Boy, is just phenomenal. I've been listening to it on repeat for like the last couple of weeks. I can't get enough of it. But Saves the Day, Sticky Fingers, absolute banger. Proper summery tune. I've always been a keen fan of Radio 4. I was once told to listen to Radio 4 to better my chances of getting into Oxbridge. Now, I never got into Oxbridge and never applied. But I do enjoy Radio 4 recreationally now, and especially on long journeys. Probably on Radio 4, as long as it's not Women's Hour, because I'm not too keen, or Gardener's Weekly, not too fond of those two. Anything else though, even the dramas, really quite a big fan of Radio 4. And I suggest, if you haven't listened to Radio 4 before, give it a try, especially if you're on a long car journey by yourself. Crack on that and just listen, because they come up with these interesting programs, interesting topics that you might not be thinking about, they might not be covering in other places in the news. Radio 4 is a seriously underrated thing, to be honest with you, amongst young people. I only just had breakfast, but I've just seen Gloucester Farm Services is coming up, and I've got to stop. I'll just get a drink or something like that, a nice local libation. This is my favourite farm shop in the country. It's a farm shop on a motorway service station. Just the most beautifully Tory thing I've ever heard of, and the fact that plebs don't like it makes me like it even more. Half a mile. Let's go. Well, conditions still extremely poor, but here I am at Gloucester Farm Shop, which will be a nice little stop on the journey before the big long 100-mile stretch on the M5. Just going to have a wee and also get a small beverage. Fabulous. I don't actually need a whole pig today, so I'm just going to pick these two up, go for a wee, get out of it. Well then, off we go. Final stretch of the journey. The handbrake's on. That would help if I released that. Let's get going. Cherry cola, natural cherry, gusto, organic, pompous, shaggy, whatever drink. Very nice, actually. Very cherry. You can taste the cola nut too. Very nice. Delicious. And as if like magic, the weather appears to be clearing up. You can't really ask for more than that. Yes, go on. I mean, it's still raining, don't get me wrong, but it's raining less. Clearly I was talking shite. The weather has actually worsened the further south I go. I'm near Bristol at the moment, and to be honest with you, it's not looking good for the weather improving in Devon. I just had a look on the weather app and apparently it's also pissing it down there. But meteorologists are idiots and I don't trust them. So probably by the time I get down to Devon, it's going to be blazing sunshine and I'll have to get a surf in. Now, ever since I've been on the M5, I've been making stellar progress. I'm only an hour and 20 minutes away, and this is a point, you know, Devon isn't actually that far. If you live in the Midlands or if you live in the southeast, Devon is really not that bad of a distance for you to get to, and there are some amazing parts to explore in Devon. If you're a surfer, then the north is the best, but if you're liking fancy food and, you know, quaint little villages, the south is lovely too. I've been going to Devon since I was a boy, and I've been blessed that Granny Seaside has always lived down there, so it gives me an excuse to get down there. But Devon's one of those places that unless you went to as a kid, it's unlikely that you explore it a lot as an adult. Now for me, that's how you know you're in Devon. When you've just passed Bristol and the roads separate and the high and the low bit, not too long now, probably under 1 hour, and that's fantastic. But that bit always reminded me when I was a kid that I was on the way to Devon, and I saw a TikTok on it the other day actually, and it just jogged the memories. So I thought, yeah, that's a thing. Now the cherry flavoured drink that I got at the services was fairly nice. It was too sweet though, that was the issue with it. Just, oh Christ, that lorry. Now I'm going to try the normal cola flavour by the same company to see if that's any better. This one looks like they go. It kind of tastes like toothpaste. It's got that, you know, root beer. It's got that root beer taste to it, but it's definitely not root beer, it's cola. It's okay though. It does taste very plant extracty. I guess that's what you get if you're getting natural colas rather than Coca-Cola with all the shit that they put into that. Now, originally my plan was that I was going to go to Cheddar Gorge and drive through that because it's so beautiful there. But the weather conditions are so poor that I'm not going to bother doing that drive because I wanted to get the roof down and all that pajazz, and it just won't be the same. Now I know this is hardly an original take, but I despise caravans. I just think that they are shit, and I do not understand why the great British public loves them so much. What are you doing in them? How are you getting enjoyment from them? Surely when you go and buy a caravan, your spouse leaves you. Who could bring one home and your other half go, that's brilliant, darling, I love the new caravan? Fuck the caravan. Fuck caravanning. Because this country has lovely hotels and things like that, but the weather in this country is not suitable to living in a shed in a field with a load of other people that live in sheds in fields, and that's your idea of perfect holidaying. Fucking caravans. Fucking caravanners. I'm now in Somerset, home of the farmers in the West Country, which means I'm almost in Devon, I am. And that was my impression of a person from Somerset. And I think that's a pretty good impression of people from Somerset. So I've been thinking about this for a while, right? I actually don't think doing crack is bad. And my logic for this is as follows. If Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, can smoke crack, then so can you and I and all of us, because that means that even if you are one of the most important and influential people in the world, smoking crack is for you and you and you. That was a joke, by the way. That was a Hunter Biden joke. Please do not smoke crack and then say, Tom Birchy told me to smoke crack. Don't smoke crack. I'm now going to take this moment to sing the neck deep version of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I hope you like it. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and I walk alone. Da da da, I walk alone, da da I walk alone, I walk. And then to balance it out, we'll also have a rendition of Socks Had a Great Night. Baby, we had a great night, are you ready for the long ride home? I got a bad bitch in my whip, plus a spliff got me out of my zone. She thinks I'm a bad boy, cause she's in my convoy, but she already knows, she already knows. I'm well known for my cold flows. I make grime and it comes into the Vovos. They know my name in every postcode. I'm not gassing, it's bad for the old. Finally, a rendition of Jerusalem by Tom Birchy. And did those feet in ancient times walk upon England's mountains green? And was the holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures? And finally, one for my Welsh speakers. Calon lan o Llandaioni, techafiwn a lili dlod, techon calon lan eich gani, calon hobis, calon gan, calon lan o Llandaioni, techafiwn a lili dlod, Dilmon calon lan eich gani, I know I got a lot of the words wrong on that one. It's been a long time. And that was the end of the audition round. Judges, over to you. Now, Tom, I loved the rendition of Jerusalem, and the balancing out with Calon Lan was just superb. I'd like to award you a place in the finals. Yeah! Woo! Clearly I've gone insane. Ah, fantastic. A crash. So I'm currently at a standstill in traffic. It was all going too easy, really, and the journey was too good. But it wouldn't be a trip to Devon without a sit in standstill traffic on the M5. Aren't I lucky? I'll admit, conditions were tricky. As I said, conditions were tricky. And it just takes one inexperienced driver to ruin everyone's fun. I hope they're all right though. Yeah. My shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Okay, one more tune. Slipknot, Psychosocial. Ready? Wait for it. I did my time and I went out. So if you said fade, it doesn't catch. The soul is nice and vibrant. The reckoning, the sickening package. Okay. Go drill your deserts. Go dig your grave. And the rain will kill us all. Throw ourselves against the wall, and no one else can see the preservation of the martyr in me. And the rain will kill us all. Throw ourselves against the wall, and no one else can see the preservation of the martyr in me. Okay, good crack. Done with that. Okay, it looks like it wasn't a crash, that's good. A lorry has just broken down and needs to have its tyre replaced, and he's just gone there, and he's absolutely fine. No one's died, God bless, and now we're off racing again. Fan-fucking-tastic. Hurry up, Mert, come on, move over, go on. Yeah, let's have it. Come on, in the sun. Power! Oh, gassed him, he's done. He's dead. He's gone. Bye-bye. This rain is quite something, though. So we're coming into the last 45 minutes of the journey. Probably only got 40 miles left. It's been very easy so far. The 2 stops that I made definitely helped to break up the journey, and still raining like hell. So far the Saab has only used a third of a tank of petrol, which is absolutely fantastic. That's probably about 25-30 quid. I've done 100 and something miles so far, which is good considering the first half of the journey was all windy country roads, and the second half of the journey I have been having my lead foot firmly down. Well, I've just passed the welcome to Devon sign, which is a lovely relief. That means there's only 25 minutes left of my journey. Gassed, ready to get out of the car, ready to stretch my legs and to see the seaside, and of course Granny Seaside. And I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me, but that looks like a little glimmer of blue sky. Could it be? Could it be? Could there be sunshine in Devon? Now, once again, returning the conversation to this Saab, lots of cars these days have those really hard racing seats that just are not comfortable to sit in. This Saab is like bringing your sofa on the road. Deep, comfortable leather seats. I mean, I'm just sinking into the fucker, no matter how long the drive. Even when I was doing like a 7-hour drive a day for the NC 500, comfy as hell. Oh, old-fashioned leather seats are the one made. Beautiful. Right, 116 miles later, I'm off the M5 in a second at junction 30. Fantastic. That has been a long slog on the motorway. And then it's just a short little calm country drive to Budley Salterton.
Use the left lane. In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto the...
I don't know if you've ever been down this area, South Devon near Exmouth, Exeter, but there is a fantastic farm shop round here. Darts Farm. It is a day out in itself. It's a wonderful place, great food and beverages, wonderful cafe. They even have an Arga shop there for the distinguished Arga buyer. Getting bored now. If you don't explore Devon much, I really recommend you do, and Cornwall as well. They're just two beautiful counties that are part of my version of the English experience. Nothing quite like them. Well, and just like that, about 2 3/4, 3 hours later, I've arrived in Budley Salterton, Devon. I'm just going to go pick out some flowers for Granny Seaside. Wow, good stretch the legs. Yeah, thank you for joining me on that journey down from Hereford to Devon. It certainly was long, but not too bad, you know. I hope you've enjoyed it though, and I'll see you next time. Remember to subscribe and like this, drop a comment as well, because I won't be doing TikTok as much. It's now just YouTube. God bless, thank you. There we go. These will do. They are co-op flowers, but it's the best I could do on short notice.